Over 3 months of D3 basketball have come and gone, and teams are starting to taste the ever-courted conference prize. The path to Salem takes one final stop in the city of Seven Hills, where the Turner Gymnasium hardwood will be worn down one final time in this 23-24 campaign. Welcome to the ODAC tournament first round matchup featuring the visiting EMU Royals and your hometown Lynchburg Hornets. Hi everybody, Evan Gates alongside my good friend Andy Watson. It is tournament time. It's a different feel in the building, and Andy, we just know these two teams really want an extra game on their schedule.
Oh yeah, definitely, and for Lynchburg especially, I mean, coming off of last year, this was kind of the goal, to get this host, to get this opportunity to continue your season, head to Salem with a great chance to continue your season, at least one more game, just survive and advance. Eastern Mennonite coming here to the Hill City. They know they have a tall task ahead of them, and it's going to be a very exciting matchup.
Well, certainly two teams that obviously have played ODAC competition this season, but they did play each other, and it was a 30-point disparity in favor of the Hornets, but certainly going to be a different contest now. We know the season has lots of ups and downs, and as we take a look at our pregame stats, you're going to see really two different styles, and Lynchburg, a team that has relied on transition, the track meet style. Three-pointers left and right, whereas EMU has found presence in the paint, and they have seen so many big contributors down low, but we know they protect the ball unlike anybody else in the conference.
They definitely do. Something else that stands out to me there, I mean, you mentioned just the pace, but points per game, Eastern Mennonite giving up more than they score. I mean, for them, I think my key for them, I know you'll hit them with the keys later, but get off to a hot start, put this Lynchburg team on their heels, and you'll have a good chance in the late parts of this contest.
Well, this is a team that gets off to some hot starts. Their last 5 games, they have led after the first quarter. They're 2-3 in the end, so we'll see how that can change the tides today. And Andy, I know you're going to talk about some of our players to watch. There's a point guard matchup that's going to be a real good one.
It should be very exciting. Last time these two teams met, it'll be Kayla Searles and Sarah Brandstatter. Last time these two teams met, they were big parts. Kayla Searles right there, started in all 25 games this year for the Royals, also averaging just a tick short of 15 points will be a key. And then for Lynchburg, Sarah Brandstatter, you see her right there, 4 short of 100 assists on the year, 9.6 points per game, third leading scorer, an opportunity to maybe cement yourself on an all ODAC team. Should be an exciting matchup.
Well, we know those lists are going to be revealed really soon. 2 grad transfers that certainly have the heads in the locker room turned their way. You have to rely on your leaders at this time of the year because they have been in the big moments. We know Searles at Hollins, Brandstatter at Roanoke both made significant contributions. As we transition into our gateway to success, the keys to the game that have been apparent all season long. For EMU, it's about movement on defense. This is a squad that typically goes back to that 2-3 defense and is so fundamental. Lots of spreading out, and if they can move around the perimeter and prevent Lynchburg from having that 8 or over 3-pointers a game, it could be a big win for the Royals, as well as controlling the boards. Long shots are going to equal long rebounds, and EMU is 11th in the league in that category, so can they hold the Hornets? For Lynchburg, it's about protecting the rock. 36 total turnovers in the last 2 games. As we said, EMU averaging just over 15. Can they do that today against a very rambunctious Lynchburg defense? We're going to have to find out, as well as playing 40 minutes of basketball. You've heard it all year. Can the Hornets do it? They have played everybody tightly in the conference, but they got to do it for 2 halves, and we know it's going to be a very special outcome if they can do so.
Yeah, you mentioned that 2-3 defense. I think that's something that really favors EMU in this contest. Obviously, it's a Lynchburg team that shoots the 3 ball very, very well. I mean, you talked about it yourself, that movement, the closeouts, shifting of that defense. Long skip passes for Lynchburg will be the key, driving and kicking, getting open looks. But also, Eastern Mennonite has to be comfortable getting those long rebounds, not letting them get poked away, and it should be a good one here in Turner.
So much to discuss. Who wants to go to Salem more? 40 minutes are going to tell the story. EMU and Lynchburg. We got national anthems, and we'll have starting lineups on the other side from the Hill City.
Football has taught me a lot throughout my life. It's definitely had a huge imprint on who I am as a person. Competing at a Division III level created that opportunity for me to go to college. Not only was I the first one in my family to graduate college, but I was really the first one to even go. Being the first one, I'm breaking that cycle, and now that I've graduated, I'm not sure what's the next step, but I know I have a lot of doors open. And a lot of those are open because I played football and ran track here at Otterbein.
Living the dream.
USA, Mexico. That was so exciting.
Lynchburg is all about you, your ideas, and your goals. We've got one professor for every 10 students, so you can get all the support you need. In the classroom, in the lab, or in nature. You'll learn by putting yourself out there, and we're right there with you.
Today's a rough day. Justin and I are officially on a break. The couple canoe has broken up.
How you feeling?
Living the dream.
Just canoeing. That's the Mexican side behind me. The US is that way.
So far, we're all still alive.
I really want a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Woo! We did it! Kind of.
Just about ready to get started in Lynchburg, EMU and Lynchburg here in Turner Gymnasium. It's a big one. Both teams looking to go on and continue their season. One is going home, and so much action that we anticipate. Two different styles, as we talked about in the pregame show, and it's very evident in their starting lineups, but they have been consistent. They're going with very familiar looks.
Yeah, exactly. For EMU, it'll be Trinity Washington, Jariah Osborne, Maya Hamlet, Layla Glimp, and Kayla Searles. A lineup they've used quite often this year. They obviously haven't started every single game together. But, you know, you bring experience into the ODAC tournament. It's always a great thing. What about for Lynchburg?
Well, we know with EMU as well, Glimp had her senior day festivities last game, so we know this EMU squad is ready to go. Lynchburg, a very familiar look, as you see on your screen. Macy Mullins and Sayer Brandstatter. It has been a very powerful backcourt that has continued to produce, as well as Sammy Sever, who had her senior night festivities, and she was very good, always looking to drive. Brooke Kaysen, one of the premier three-point shooters in the conference, and Bree Spainhour, who has been sensational, 49.5% from the field, and ever since returning from that volleyball season, she has lit the court up here in Lynchburg.
She's definitely done a great job after returning for the Hornets, and I think for Eastern Mennonite, you look up and down the lineup for Lynchburg, and you see a lot of people who score kind of around the same amount of points. It's a Lynchburg team that loves to share the wealth on the offensive end. If you're Eastern Mennonite, you obviously want to limit that a little bit, but great one-on-one defending in that zone, good closeouts will go a long way to keeping one Lynchburg player from really standing out. and keeping the Royals in this contest.
Sometimes it's so difficult to play defense against squads like that when you consider the fact that Lynchburg's leading scorer, Bree Spainhour, is averaging 10.6 points per game. They don't have necessarily that one player that has to go out and put up some crooked numbers. It can be anybody's day, and they are ready to try and have it here in the first round of the ODAC tournament. Lynchburg in white, EMU in black, up and away we go. Brandstatter corrals, and Lynchburg will set up their offense. This is a squad that is looking to be in a very different position from last year. They closed out the year on a big losing streak, losing on the road to Ferrum. Owens down to Kaysen. Here's that look at the high post as Spainhour goes up no good, and Searles corrals.
Yeah, early good defense from the Royals out there late in the shot clock. Great defense on both sides.
Spainhour swats it away, and EMU will get it under their basket. 2 wins for both of these squads in their last game. EMU getting it done versus Holland, 66-54 on their senior night. Lynchburg 74-40 against Virginia Wesleyan. It just really felt like they were comfortable from the wire. Jump shot up and off. Sever taps it out of bounds, and EMU will maintain possession.
Yeah, and in a contest like this, when obviously EMU knows it might be a little bit of an uphill battle, just looking back on the game in Harrisonburg earlier this year, possessions like that go a long way. You get late in the shot clock, you put up a good shot, it doesn't go, but you get a next opportunity.
Hamlet off the glass. It looks really pretty. Maya Hamlet injured in the exhibition game to start the season against JMU. And while she didn't miss significant time, you can tell the minutes have been a little less than she anticipated. She has been really strong for the Royals, all ODAC's second team last year. Andy, you think about players that command presence early, it can be such a threat. You talk about one in Bree Spainhour.
Yeah, that's going to be a matchup we need to keep an eye on all day. Spainhour versus Hamlet, getting the ball inside, getting some easy looks. They've done a great job of it in the early going, but have to keep going there. Spainhour also a great passer as well.
Who can get their offense rolling early? We talked about EMU, a squad that not only has led after the first quarter of their last 5 games, but it's been pretty significant, looking at 7 or 8 points, as it's a pretty drop for Trinity Washington.
Yeah, great job there from Washington to attack that closeout, knowing that Brandstatter might have been a little off balance, checking out to the top of the key. Great finish.
Sometimes it's tough to put full court pressure on Lynchburg because they can run and get their passing up. That time it works. EMU gets the rebound. And a backcourt that is extremely short. Lynchburg doesn't typically have a height advantage, but this EMU squad can always live with it. Kayla Searles with the ball right now, 5'2", as that point guard. But it provides lots of quick looks. Here's a 3 from Washington. Rattles home. That was Osborne for 3, excuse me. And so all of a sudden, Royals up to a 5-point lead.
Yeah, good start for the Royals. They knew they needed to get off to a fast start against this Lynchburg team. And this pressure on defense, full court pressure as well after the basket, really making Lynchburg have to take those long possessions that doesn't fit their style.
Man D right now for EMU. We talked about those zone looks. Mullins leaves one short. Rebounded by Washington. Mentioned Jeriah Osborne. Well, she and Maya Hamlet, both from the area, went to EC Glass High School, so bit of a homecoming for this ODAC contest. Here is Osborne, misses the shot. Brandstatter always looking to run. Downhill will tail out. Mullins for 3. She's got range, she's got change. 3 points for number 3.
First 3-point opportunity of the game for Lynchburg. Mullins makes good, and that's a very welcome sign for a team who relies on that 3-point jumper a lot.
Especially for Macy Mullins, who has, you could say, struggled this year compared to what she put up last season. 39.5% from 3-point range, and has gone down to 28, but we have still seen lots of contributions that guard position, especially with the leadership of Brandstatter. She's trying to go coast to coast. Rattles outside again. Spainhour from the high post, no good. Or excuse me, it rattles home. Sometimes, Andy, you have to wait a few seconds.
I agree, but a great move there to get the open look on the elbow. Spainhour looking as smooth as ever here in Turner.
We've seen lots of different shots like that. And at the rate that Lynchburg shoots the basketball, you're going to expect a few funky ones here and there. We know that this squad is not wanting to waste any time. Searles, a dribble beyond the three-point line. Great rebounding from Layla Glimp, the senior from Culpeper. Decent amount of elbow looks from this EMU squad. They've got guards that can do it too, as Searles just goes a little bit of English downhill.
A strong move to the basket there from Searles, but all off that second chance opportunity.
Sever, another driver, gets it off the backboard, and it's all square at 9. What a season Sammy Sever has had. You talk about the injury that really limited her time last season. She comes back averaging 10.5 points per game, 4 rebounds. And it plays well with Lynchburg's transition. Mullins bounce pass off the mark. Hornets can take their time. There was Sever. Pocket picked. Royals outside to Searles. Jump shot rattles out. And a foul on the rebound. It will send it the Hornets' way. Back and forth start, something that EMU might not be accustomed to. We talked about a lot of swings they have had early in ball games. 4:28 to play in the first quarter, and we've got lots of action waiting on the other side.
Look what you're missing.
Well, in any season, you know there are certainly going to be figureheads who help the squad get it done. And as you see on your left, Jenny Posey in her 6th season took the head coaching position in 2018 for EMU. Before that, coaching at Holland. So we see an interesting connection with the fact that we know Searles transferred from Holland. And then on Lynchburg's side, we have Allison Nichols, 37-41 at Lynchburg, and previously coached at Randolph, but also coaching position at Roanoke, where Sayer Brandstatter came from. So some nice connections being represented on the floor. Mullins had her defender lost in translation, but they get the ball back. Now can reset. We see Ross and Kelly down low for Lynchburg, looking to solidify their position. There is number 20, Casey Kelly, mid-range, smooth as butter. And the Hornets up by 2.
Yeah, tough for EMU there. You have to close out on Kelly in that position, but you know just how athletic she is. Can blow by just about anyone on the floor. Uses that mid-range game well.
She makes your life so difficult. Jada Jones missed close to the bucket. Here's Olivia Harris, and she's going to be called for a carry. This is a season of ups and downs. We've talked about it so often, but when you consider the fact that Lynchburg is hung with some very formidable opponents this year, you have to be confident in their ability on the tournament stage. We know they have had significant leads against teams like Washington and Lee and Shenandoah. They led Shenandoah by 14 at the half in Winchester. Darcy Ross gets the block, and Lynchburg looking to make something happen. Here's Mullins, beautiful pass, just goes over the head of Casey Kelly. Right idea. Pass outside to Jones, wide open. The window that sends the ball through. EMU up 1. Little double screen action. Brandstatter somehow slots it through to Kelly. Pass outside. The extra one to Brandstatter on the side, and she's all alone. Sayer Brandstatter, the grad student, making it look easy.
If we start getting a back and forth matchup from behind the arc, it'll be one that favors Lynchburg, but a team who only shoots 25% from three, EMU has already knocked down 2 in this contest.
Well, we know it's so tough when you look at film and really try to prepare for a ball game. You don't know what opponents are going to try to throw at you, especially come tournament time, but you can live with a few of those as Jayla Gray will step to the line. Osborne and Glimp return to the contest for EMU, as well as Ashley Vandergrift stepping in for the first time for Lynchburg. And Vandergrift, since coming back from injury, her first game against Wilson, she hits a half-court shot. That's going to be a narrative that's talked about for a pretty long time, but she has been significant from beyond the arc, over 56% from three-point range. Finds her spots. Sometimes good shooting is a result of getting to that position early as Brandstatter gets to the rack and makes it work.
Brandstatter did have Vandergrift over in the corner, maybe drew those defenders at the top of the key, kind of just diverted their eyes away from the graduate transfer. She makes them pay. Nice finish with the left hand.
Can be so difficult when you have options outside. As shot nowhere close. Here comes Brandstatter. Bounce pass to Harris. Trying to get it back across the court. EMU is so speedy as Osborne picks it off.
It's always a tough pass to try and make, especially in transition with every Royal defender stepping back and closing out that pass.
Here's Searles off the dribble and gets another one to fall. Those first few steps have been swifty. And Searles just continuing to get it done. 4 points in the early going. We've seen this offense with Ross and Kelly for Lynchburg quite often. They'll use that line and try to get the three-pointer. Harris can't get it. There's Casey Kelly with the offensive rebound. Dish to Vandergrift. Kelly with her 51st offensive rebound this season. She leads the team in that category. And when you talk about those long shots leading to more missed opportunities, you have to have that vacuum down low. Casey Kelly has done it all season. Searles, a nice move to get separation, and she is on fire in this first quarter. 7 points to her name. Searles in the front, just looking a little fatigued after that. We know lots of these players will get extended minutes. They are used to it as Brandstatter does it on the other end. We talked about the point guard battle. It's living up to its name, Andy.
It definitely is, but you mentioned those minutes per game. Searles averaging over 30 a game. She's used to being in these different positions for the Royals. But Brandstatter on the other end continuing to make this Royal defense think, stepping out to the perimeter, driving to the basket.
5 seconds was close. Osborne gets the ball. Clock ticking down, gets it outside, but the ball is lost. Jayla Gray was so close to the bucket. Just 0.2 of a second. Kaysen and Sever return, as well as Taylor Gantz opening minute in the contest, or we should say 0.2 of a second. They will just let the clock expire. Backboard lit up through 10 minutes, and Lynchburg with the 3-point lead. They are looking strong. It's been back and forth. Might we have a big-time battle on our hands? We'll have the second quarter and more action from Lynchburg on the other side.
Think a private education is too expensive? Think again. At the University of Lynchburg, you can get a personalized education for the cost of a state school. If you're commuting and you get our top scholarships, you could pay much less. And you get all that without the hassle of giant lecture halls. Our faculty know your name here and do more than just teach. You might even do research together and plan out your next career moves.
Well, we've touched on the matchup from this season that favored Lynchburg in a very big manner, 79-49 in Harrisonburg. But if you look at last year, there was a very big battle that took place. EMU over Lynchburg 73-71. And if this one stays close, you have to picture we could see a very familiar matchup. And that was a game where Maya Hamlet had one of the games of her life. 40 minutes, went on for a career high 38 points. And you talk about someone just really feeling herself. Hamlet was the player to watch.
Yeah, and then for Lynchburg in that game, Mullins and Spainhour also went off 15 and 16 points respectively in that contest, but it was a tie game after 10 minutes there. It was a tie game after 40 minutes in that contest. We'll see where this one leads, as EMU won last year in overtime.
So far, no significant runs. We've seen lots of back and forth. This is an EMU squad that's 0-6, and its last 6 ODAC tournament games. You got to go back to the 2015-2016 tournament where they beat Hollins in a first-round matchup. Looking to get back to Salem. Mullins gets some attention. It was a nice look from Kaysen that's deflected out of bounds. Yeah, the ODAC tournament's so tough because it just feels like with the competition, especially on that men's side, just getting to Salem is a win on its own, but then you have 3 more rounds of trying to get that championship. And an offensive foul on Maya Hamlet.
Yeah, every night in the ODAC tournament is a grind. You say almost every night in the regular season is a grind in the ODAC, but especially once you get to the ODAC tournament, you're playing back-to-back-to-back days. If you keep on surviving and advancing in the tournament, it's a tough couple of days of basketball, but definitely rewarding if you're able to walk away with that ODAC championship trophy.
Gant inserts to Spainhour, and she cleans the window. Hornets now up 5. Some people like having the routine of the ODAC tournament as it really just extends that regular season. You don't have a long wait. The guys played 2 days after their final game on the regular season. But then you also consider the fact that you get to Salem and you really have those 3 or 4 days of just going at it, trying to get that championship.
Especially after 3 days. As Sever knocks one down there, but I mean, it really is just a grind. Like, you're in those situations every night. If you keep winning, you're playing a new team the next day, not too much time to prepare. Obviously, both of these sides got a little bit of extra time to prepare before they head into that ODAC tournament should they advance, but should be an exciting basketball game, should be an exciting tournament.
Hamlet, a nifty move in the paint. You can't say the ODAC tournament without at least considering what Washington and Lee has brought to the table this season. The only team that has been a mainstay in the rankings, and it has really occurred since that opening week. Mary Schleissner, Player of the Year candidate in the conference. Sever attracts some traffic, gets the pass off to Kaysen from the corner, no good. But Spainhour hits the offensive rebound. Here's Sever, second chance opportunity. And Hamlet can get off and going.
And that was a very close opportunity for Lynchburg to really just take the momentum away for Eastern Mennonite. You play nearly 40 seconds of good defense, and Lynchburg gets 2 very clean looks, not able to convert on either.
One southpaw misses on one end, but Sever, the other, finishes with another 3-pointer. And Sammy Sever has been having a really nice stretch for these Hornets, giving a little bit of life on the Lynchburg bench. They're up 7. We're going to take a quick break here in the Hill City, but we're loving all the ODAC action here in Turner Gymnasium. We've had some sweet looks all around, and Sammy Sever took it into the timeout with another three-pointer. Talk about a threat from inside and out of the arc. She has been able to really expand her game this season. Washington walks it up. EMU just trying to chop away, and the Hornets have slowly stretched that lead, but it has still felt very tight in the early going. Hamlet to Searles. Trying to isolate down low. Here's Hamlet from the corner. Harris can take over. Maybe taking it herself. The lane was open. Just escapes the rim, and EMU will take the basketball.
Yeah, lucky break there for EMU. Harris in transition, usually very deadly. But obviously, if you're going to stop the ball in transition defense, that's kind of the key. Lynchburg fills the lane well. Harris couldn't convert, but either way, good offensive possession and a lucky break for the Royals.
Uncharacteristic turnover, and Harris trying to take advantage. Sever from the same spot, this time no good. This is a Lynchburg squad that has really relied on rebounds in their wins, and you think about that with every team, but there are so many stats you can look at for Lynchburg and just tell from the stat sheet why they're winning or losing ball games. They've been out-rebounded in all but 2 losses this season, and those 2 games where they did have the rebounding advantage were by just 1. So you certainly want to have that advantage early, up by 3 now in that category. It is a pretty look off the backboard. Washington gets that one high, and it falls through.
It was a great find to get it into the sophomore's hands, but Washington did an even better job of just turning around, pointing her body towards the basket, knocking that one down, bring the lead back down to 5 points.
That trio of guards, Washington, Osborne, and Searles, does such a good job knowing where they're at on the court. Can make shots from virtually any angle. Harris, separation, 1-2 over, another, no good, and Spainhour called with the over-the-back foul.
Yeah, tough one there. Lynchburg gets a good look. Obviously, you trust Olivia Harris in those situations, especially when she's standing on the three-point line. Doesn't go in, but just the first personal foul against Bree Spainhour. So you're comfortable with that. Spainhour will be that player today for Lynchburg. Obviously not the player to watch that we talked about earlier, but definitely one of those keys for the Hornets.
5 fouls total in this contest. So as of now, it doesn't look like the second half will be troublesome. We will wait and see. Three-pointer from downtown. No good, but Lynchburg travels. Couldn't tell if it was Brandstatter. Hand up, maybe a little unsure, but the Royals will take advantage. Substitutions are Osborne and Layla Glimp. Andy, we've seen this EMU rotation. They really utilize 9 or 10 players for the majority of the game, and it really allows them to get a feel for each other on the court. They know what each other is capable of and certainly take advantage of those skill sets.
Yeah, already using 8 in this contest so far, and they've all really had an impact on this contest, whether it's driving and throwing up a shot or, you know, just driving and kicking, taking an open look. They've all put a little bit of pressure on Lynchburg on both sides of the basketball, and they've done a good job to hang around in this contest.
Kaysen and Gray collided on the floor. Seems like everything that's being shot from number 31 in black is going in, but the shot clock expired. Referees are going to talk this one over. EMU's bench getting heated, and they will count it. So Searles will add 3 to her tally. Double digits, the first one in this ball game. She is so talented, Andy, just so many different looks that she can pose, and you consider a player that keeps your team in the ball game. She is certainly one to watch.
Yeah, tough to see whether she got it off or not, but I'm not sure that's exactly what the officials were discussing there. It might have been that kind of scrum on the ground, maybe possession changed hands, which would have reset the shot clock, but either way, basket's good, a great shot from EMU, and now an opportunity to tie or take the lead.
Royals in transition, they bring it out. Glimp, hand off to Searles. Here's the mid-range bunny that dribbles around the rim, but offensive rebound. Osborne, the second chance, no good. Lynchburg may be getting a taste of their own medicine, some of these elongated possessions. There's a third look, no good. Macy Mullins, 5'5", says I'm going to get in the paint and take this one. Creates some separation, nice little screen, and Kaysen will take it all day long.
Lynchburg loves, sorry to interrupt you there, but Lynchburg loves those little dish backs at the top of the key, quick hitting plays to start possessions, especially after a long defensive possession. Maybe you'd want to take a breath. Lynchburg says, no, I want to keep pushing the ball, and they knock it down.
It's all about timing, and really that misdirection we have seen throughout the season. Foul was called. Spanhauer was doing everything in her power to hold on. It's going to be against Glimp, and that is her second. Casey Kelly and Darcy Ross coming back into the game. You really get the impression that they're sort of being used as a package down low. You take Casey's aggression and Darcy's ability on the post.
They also do a good job of running some double screens there on the block, as you saw there. Led to an open look for Brandstatter. Couldn't knock it down, but great job by Sever to track down that long board.
Hands were set, just couldn't finish. And now the offense resets. Brandstatter wants the screen up top. She's going to take it out to Kelly. Another mid-range. Misses everything. Ross still has it. Shot clock doesn't reset at 4. Here's Mullins. Somehow sneaks through. No good. There's that other offensive rebound from Kelly. Brandstatter no good. Sever's going to try the offensive rebound. Hustle all over the court. Looks like it will be a foul on Sammy Sever. It's going to be Darcy Ross that is called for the foul. You love to see that hustle in a tournament game. Everybody getting after it. It'll be on that initial contact on Ross.
Yeah, but either way, foul called or not, a long possession there on defense once again for EMU. Talked about rebounding kind of being the key in this one. There haven't been many runs on the scoreboard, but the runs have come in that rebounding column. EMU gets a couple, 3 on one possession. Lynchburg does the same on the other end.
Hamlet's going to go to the line, and you think about not having that many runs, that sort of makes up for the lack of production offensively. EMU came out really hot, be going pound for pound with this Lynchburg squad. They are 4 for 10 from beyond the arc. This is an EMU squad that, as we said, averaging just 25% from three-point range. That is not to say that they aren't capable of it. They have put up numbers earlier this season where they have been proficient. 9 of 16 against Bridgewater, shooting 56% from three-point range, and they lost that game by 10 points. So it tells you that it is certainly not a factor that they're going to rely on. They're going to win games in other ways. Got to keep the entire stat sheet ready to go as free throws fall. 3-point game. Brandstatter maybe a little lazy on the pass. And now Kelly trying to go to work. Gets past everybody. Brandstatter got the rebound, falling down. Now Harris is Sever. They got the defense on their toes. Here's Kelly, extra move to the bucket, rattles home.
Great move by Casey Kelly there late in the shot clock, just taking it herself. One-on-one defenders for EMU. Not much you can do when someone rises up and hits one over your head like Kelly did just there. 5-point lead, Lynchburg extending.
Attempted to charge down low, it didn't work. Searles, maybe your first bad shot of the game. This one doesn't miss, doesn't hit the rim. Now Lynchburg can go. Brandstatter slowing it down. Sign of her veteran presence at the beginning of the season. Coach Nichols really praised her ability to create transition, but sometimes it's about getting out of that gear. Using the half court as well. Harris over to Sever. She was set. 3 no good. Hamlet, nice box out. Here she goes down the lane. Kelly trips her up. 1:16 to go in this opening half. Lynchburg has not won a game this season with single-digit assists. Andy, they've already had it in this game with 10.
Yeah, definitely have done a great job of taking their opportunities where they come. 14 baskets, 10 assists, a great number there, and a great ratio for the Hornets in the early going of this game.
Hamlet goes to the stripe, shooting 2. Free throw battle always interesting against the Hornets, and it just seems like every team has come into Turner Gymnasium and shot their best free throws of this season. Hornets, a team that typically struggle from the stripe, as Hamlet will make both, and once again it is a one-possession ball game. Harris looking down low to Spainhour, back out to Kaysen. She will take it, no good. Brandstatter working for the rebound, draws the jump ball. That is hustle on display. Your Swiss Army knife going down and keeping the possession with the Hornets. Brandstatter pass to Spainhour right under the bucket, just can't get it up. Great defense down low from Hamlet. Kick out, 8 on the shot clock. Here's Kaysen. Gets Harris, lost her defender, no good. And a swipe from Osborne.
Yeah, I would have almost liked to see when Harris popped out of that little kind of dribble handoff. I almost would have liked her seated, cut to the basket, nobody standing in the paint on either team. A 5-out offense really leaves that open. Decides to take the three, doesn't get any points out of it.
Three-pointer no good. Brandstatter an easy rebound. So one final possession. Can they extend this lead? 3 points. Here's Brandstatter working, sees the opening, a beautiful spin, and off the backboard and in. Lynchburg puts a stamp on the first half, and that will do it for the first 20 minutes. 36-31, we are going to have a battle. We might have a climax a little later on, but we're gonna take a quick break. We'll be back with you on the Lynchburg Hornets Sports Network. Stats, analysis, and highlights with Eva Gates and Andy Watson in Lynchburg.
My name is Alexis Fabula. I major in criminology and I double minor in psychology and criminal forensics. My favorite part about Lynchburg is the friends that I've come to have. It's helped me come out of my shell more, and it's helped me become the person I am and the student I am. I really enjoyed how small the campus was, and I also really enjoy how small the class sizes are. It made me feel like I was gonna be more engaged than I would at a bigger campus. If someone was on the fence of coming to the University of Lynchburg, I would definitely love to sit down and have a conversation with them, because I'm forever grateful that I made this choice. It's definitely something that a student wouldn't regret. Out of my 4 years here, I've not had one bad experience. I've had a great 4 years, and I'm gonna be very sad to go.
Tim Slusser from the Outdoor Leadership Program gave a presentation at a Teaching and Learning Resources Conference here about getting his program more involved on the academic side of campus. I mentioned computers and mapping, and he mentioned caving, and eventually we came up with the idea of mapping caves.
So the week before, we were able to learn how to use the instruments kind of like on a flat surface and just kind of get a hang of how they work. But it was really amazing how once we got in the cave, it was a completely different experience using them.
It was unique. It got most of us out of our comfort zone, kind of gave us a new experience, a new taste of something new. But I think the most difficult parts were getting the lighting right. You had to read the instruments with the headlamps while keeping your eye pointed on the plot point.
This allowed them to actually literally get their hands dirty, collecting data, conducting measurements, and putting all that together in the form of a map, and doing it in a place that's never been mapped before.
if I'm walking around over on the crowd side, I always hear someone yelling, "Hey Nat, take our picture. Hey Nat, get this," or something, or "Hey Nat, you got that shot?" Like, so I'm always like trying to photograph the crowds and my friends calling my name. I think sports at Lynchburg unifies us as a whole. No matter what background we come from, what differences we have, and what experience we've experienced through our lives, it brings us all together and we have one goal, which is to win. As a photographer, I definitely get to capture the emotion and the feel and the atmosphere of what's going on during the games and what's happening in the crowd and with the fans. We have hugely dedicated fans here at Lynchburg. They come out whether it's rain, snow, sleet, windy, no matter what, like they will come out and support their team and cheer them on. They will sit through anything. It's just, it brings us all together as one.
Get your career in the game by enrolling in the University of Lynchburg MBA program with an emphasis in sport management. This program opens the doors to new possibilities for a variety of careers, from being an athletic director or working in athletic administration to working for professional organizations, your favorite team, to running a local Parks and Rec department. And employers are increasingly requesting and preferring individuals who have postgraduate education, specifically looking for an MBA. And so the University of Lynchburg Sport Management concentration in the MBA program sets you up for success, and it sets you apart from the many other people looking for jobs in the industry. Learn from winners. Here you will learn from professors and mentors who have spent their careers doing exactly what you want to do. Increase your marketability in an $83 billion industry. If you have a 3.0 GPA, the GMAT is waived. There's no application fee, admissions occurs on a rolling basis, and our online program is ideal for working adults. When you enroll in this program, you enroll in the opportunity to learn from the best of the best. Your professors have a wealth of experience working in the sport industry that they share with you in the classroom setting. Get in the game by getting your MBA with a sport management concentration at the University of Lynchburg. You know, Hollywood, here I come. Hey, I meant, yeah.
The real Lindsay Piper's here.
Autographs there later.
When you come to the University of Lynchburg to earn a master's degree in athletic training, you'll spend time in the classroom, but you'll also spend a lot of time in our top-notch facilities, learning from athletic trainers and working closely with our student athletes. In the Graduate Cadaver Lab, you'll learn about the human body in the best way possible, by actually studying the human body. This will provide a foundation to make you a much better athletic trainer. In the athletic training laboratory, you'll get hands-on experience, practicing your skills, applying concepts from the classroom, and working with faculty on research projects. It's also where our hydrotherapy facilities are. This space is also used by students for studying and practicing skills outside of class time. In the Sports Medicine Clinic and Turner Gymnasium, you'll work with student athletes from more than 20 NCAA Division III sports teams, helping get them back to practice and into the game as soon as possible. As an athletic training student, you're a big part of the success of our sports teams and the success of the local athletic teams. We see this relationship as a win-win situation. You learn, and that helps us win.
A single thread is unique. Like each of us, full of purpose and potential. A strand designed to connect, strengthen, and unite. But we face different challenges and have different opportunities. By acknowledging that others may struggle in ways we do not, we can celebrate our differences, embrace each other, and fortify the ties among us. A single thread can fray, yet when it's woven with another, a bond forms. A new strength created by the fabric of the whole. Let's embrace the fabric we make together, the diversity of our threads, to reach beyond ourselves and overcome the impossible. The true power of our game.
Well, the halftime show, as always, having to get off the floor. We do mean the shots going around, a little bit of extracurricular action, and it has been a very fun official matchup in those first 20 minutes. 36-31 favoring Lynchburg, and it is far from over as we take a look at some highlights and stats from that opening 20 minutes. It is really interesting to see what Lynchburg has been able to do so far, because obviously leading by 5, but that turnover battle has really shaped up to what we predicted. We know EMU really protects the basketball, but they have 4 3-pointers early, so we know that they are certainly on their way to getting something done.
Yeah, and a lot of that field goal percentage you see from behind the arc for EMU, really a lot of those misses came in about the last 2 or 3 minutes of that first half, where you're late in the shot clock, you need to get one up, and they do it, but then missing those long shots, getting those long rebounds led to second opportunities, and I was talking about it over the little break we had. The best defensive teams in basketball, the one thing they do well is limit their opponents to only one opportunity at taking a shot in a single possession, and neither of these teams have done a great job of it. It hasn't really hurt either team to this point. A couple of very long possessions that are really getting near about a minute, maybe 3 or 4 rebounds on one single possession. But, you know, that highlight, that matchup that we talked about earlier, the battle of the point guards, has been going really well for us.
Oh, it has been sensational. Brandstatter has shown what she can get done, as well as Kayla Searles, and the grad students have just been electric, as you see a 3-pointer from Jariah Osborne to get things started. The threes have been flying, and it just seems like that up-tempo pace has really been infectious on both sides, leading to 10 total 3-pointers, and we had lots of back and forth. The Hornets were able to get a little ahead during the middle of that first half, and it is a 5-point lead, but it certainly just still feels like EMU has their foot in the doorstep. They know they're in this ballgame.
Yeah, it felt for a little while like Lynchburg grabbed all of the momentum in this contest. They led by a little more than they do now, and it felt like they were one shot away, one move away, one defensive stop away from really pulling away from the Royals in this contest. But EMU hanging in there, they know they can get it done. They're trying to replicate what they did last year when they took down Lynchburg in overtime, which started that 6-game losing streak, which Lynchburg ended the season on. The Royals are here, and they're here to fight and try and earn themselves a spot into the second round of the ODAC tournament.
Oh, it is shaping up to be a fun one. Brandstatter and Searles, the two in double figures. The rest of the story is yet to be written in Lynchburg. We'll be back with the second half on the other side. It's Lynchburg 36, EMU 31. Osborne to Washington, and off we go in the second half. EMU and the Road Blacks, Lynchburg, the home whites. Someone's season is over after this period of play. Who wants to go to Salem? Whoever can clinch that matchup has a date with Shenandoah on Friday night. Salem Civic Center, the site for the festivities. Talked about lots of second and third chance opportunities. We'll have to see who limits it early. Also of note, as Mullins gets it down near the block, no good. No free throws for Lynchburg in that opening 20 minutes.
Yeah, they've done a good job of getting downhill, very individualistic moves to try and get by, kind of fighting off screens at the top of the key. Brandstatter did it well. Olivia Harris did it well once or twice as well. But, I mean, not a lot of contact in the paint. When they're getting those paint touches, there's not many EMU defenders around them. They're doing a good job of moving the ball, getting downhill, creating space, and that's really the main reason why they haven't gotten to the line at this point.
Well, you think about that transition, and we know Lynchburg, when they can get to the hoop, and even if you're not shooting your free throws at a super proficient rate, you'd like to have those opportunities. We'll see if Coach Nichols shifts it up in the second half. 13 on the shot clock. EMU looking to stick in that man. We've seen moments of that zone defense. Their 2-3 is very interesting when you look at some of the movements and switches. They're not afraid to get around the court. There's the first foul. Might have needed to say that a little bit earlier, as Macy Mullins will make the trip to the free throw line.
Yeah, great move here by Mullins, getting downhill, fighting off of that screen, kind of rejected it from Kaysen at the top of the key, and then once that defender got on the wrong side of Maya Hamlet, it was off to the races for Mullins.
Second foul on Hamlet. Right now, 2 fouls on Macy Mullins. We've seen a few games this season where she has had foul trouble. We'll keep our eye on that. Only other in this contest with 2 is Layla Glimp. Here comes Washington. It's offense from EMU, trying to get off-ball screens. We've seen a few of those and some good movement, but really it has been facilitated by the player with the ball, Kayla Searles. Washington pulls up at the free throw line. Here's Brandstatter. Elite vision, she can run too. Spainhour, a step inside the three-point line, no good.
Yeah, good look there for Brandstatter to find Spainhour there near the edge of the perimeter, but you normally don't like those long twos, but for Spainhour, I think that's a spot where she's very comfortable. Not able to hit there, but keep taking those opportunities if you're Lynchburg.
Spainhour is very versatile with that jumper. Maya Hamlet, you talk about versatility, one of those players who has gotten it done in every category, averaging over 8 points and 5 rebounds a game. Talked about that career high 38 points versus Lynchburg last season, as Sever was on the side of the backboard but not caught out of bounds. And Osborne tries to keep the ball away from everybody. Brandstatter just wants to slow it down.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt either team there, but that one definitely took a little bit of a rattle off of the piping that holds up the backboard here in Turner Gymnasium. But either way, things kind of reset. No one gains any advantage from it.
Spainhour lost it, finds her way to get it back. Timeout. If you're a coach, you always get a little nervous about players rolling around on the floor. That travel is called very often. Coach Nichols animated at the bench, maybe a little displeased with how that possession unfolds. We're going to keep it here in the Hill City. Other matchup that we'll keep our eye on going down the stretch is Ferrum and Randolph. That one, the other one in Lynchburg tonight. Randolph, a squad that really has struggled in the late part of the season, but they have some significant talent by the likes of Kylie Stark, Jess Jennings, Tanaya Crenshaw-Patterson, and we know for Ferrum what Kayla Cabanis did in this very gym. Maybe a game that just created momentum for the Panthers going into this tournament.
Yeah, they definitely came here into Turner. They needed a big win, and Ferrum got it. They're back in the Hill City with an opportunity against Randolph to try and cement themselves into the top 8, into the second round of the ODAC tournament, trying to do the exact same thing that Eastern Mennonite has done tonight. Hang around to the last couple of minutes, and then when you get your opportunity, take advantage of it, knock down a couple of shots, put Lynchburg on their heels. And who knows what could happen at the end of either of these first-round contests in the Old Dominion Athletic Conference Women's Basketball Tournament.
Lots of teams that can hang around in this ODAC. And Andy, I'm going to throw you a score line that is absurd. Well, I don't want to say absurd, but given the team's styles, it makes sense. But it is 13-12 at halftime. Randolph over Ferrum. The first quarter was 5-5, so 10 total points. Check your record books because I think that might be up there in the ODAC. This conference goes back to 1976. I don't think we've seen that before.
Yeah, I'm not sure you can say that's up there. I mean, with the scoring, if you know what I mean. But I mean, that is incredible. Two teams that score the ball relatively well. I mean, for Lynchburg, neither of these teams on the floor had more points in the first half than either of the ones there. And if you add them together, I mean, that was just the first quarter. So things are a lot different here in Turner Gymnasium than they are across the Hill City. But good defensive battles are always interesting to watch.
Searles and Brandstatter was 10-10 at half, so that number was close, and Searles on cue, getting it done again. She has been an animal in this contest, now up to 12. We'll keep our eye on that other women's basketball contest across town as Spainhour has the ball stripped away. Here comes Osborne into Searles, losing traffic, extra pass, but traveling violation is called. I think it was almost a little too much comfort for Glimp in the corner.
Yeah, for Lynchburg, they've struggled just a little bit getting the ball a little bit too deep there on the block and then taking advantage of picking up the dribble, whether it's been Spainhour in that space or maybe Ross now not dropping the dribble in that area, but Maya Hamlet's been all over the place, poking those passes away, doing a great job of creating turnovers for this Royals defense.
Harris showing the IQ to let the ball go past midcourt. Don't want to pick it up in a sticky situation. There's a turnover from Mullins. Add it to Lynchburg's tally. It'll now be 9 on the day as Hamlet showing her power down low. Just can't get it over Kaysen, but the ball lost again. Some of these unforced errors have really hurt the Hornets, not just this game, but this season.
Yeah, empty possessions in a contest that are this close, especially when EMU feels like all of the momentum is over on that visiting side bench. I mean, empty possessions go a long way if you're the Royals to keep yourselves in this game. I'm sure there's a lot of empty possessions across the Hill City, and either way, both of those teams feel comfortable with where they're at. I can imagine that EMU feels the same way, being only down 3.
Foul will be called before anything can manifest. Trinity Washington will be tagged with that one. First foul of the contest. So 3 fouls in this third quarter for EMU. We'll see if Lynchburg can get into that bonus and get a few more free throws. It is just a 3-point game. Scoring has been pretty limited. Ashley Vandergrift goes to the scorer's table. You have to imagine Nichols and this coaching staff want 3-pointers. And there's one from Olivia Harris. Brandstatter, a little bit of magic as she ushers the ball out of bounds. A late deflection will keep it with the Hornets.
Yeah, 2 great plays there. Harris a little step back, realizing she has some space. Then immediately following that, Brandstatter forcing the pressure onto Trinity Washington in that area. Forces the turnover. Lynchburg basketball, they're up 6 and a chance to extend.
Referees talking things over. You know, sometimes you see, whether it's professional basketball or college, you try to get the play going before the refs can even second guess the decision, but it will stay with the Hornets. Vandergrift inbounds to Brandstatter. Sayer has been all over the court. 10 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists. Talk about wanting those key contributors on the big days, on the big stages. She has shown up. Ball stays in and Washington takes over. Nobody to pick her up. She gets past Spainhour, just misses the rim. And Vandergrift can start transition. Here's Brandstatter, almost trying to do a little too much, but foul in the lane. We'll keep it with the Hornets. There's the 4th foul of this third quarter.
Yeah, got it poked away. We'll take another look at it here. Brandstatter getting in there, might have just had it poked on the far side there by Searles, but either way, 6-point lead. The EMU coaching staff needed that timeout maybe to calm themselves and their team down after that call.
Well, it has been a game that has just felt like it's been on a thread the entire way. Now 6-point lead, but we know that those runs can happen quickly. Lynchburg has seen both sides of it this season. Can they hold on in this third quarter is the question. We talked about the women's side of the ODAC tournament as the opening days have occurred. Well, you got to go back to yesterday for the start of the men's tournament. Lynchburg falls to Shenandoah on the road in Winchester, and as we mentioned, Ferrum earlier on the women's side, they were able to get an upset over Bridgewater to move on to Salem. So Ferrum and Shenandoah will punch tickets to Salem, but on that men's side, you got that top three, really a three-headed monster of Randolph, Macon, Hampton, Sidney, and Guilford. Good luck touching those teams.
Yeah, and I think there's kind of a disagreement between us and between longtime announcer here at Lynchburg, Sam Graham, about who's going to come out on top. I mean, you do your March Madness brackets. Here at Lynchburg, we do our ODAC tournament brackets. And I know you have your opinion, but yes, all three of those teams, and even you go down the list, Roanoke, Washington, and Lee. Ferrum just had a big upset win that you mentioned. Who knows what could go on in that tournament? I'm just excited to witness that.
Harris 3 rims out, fouls called on the rebound against the Hornets. We'll maintain a sense of professionalism. We won't tell you who we picked, but rest assured it was from that top three. And if someone outside of those top three teams comes away with the ODAC title, they certainly earned it, because wow, that men's side has been stacked. Here's Washington trying to create some quick motion for EMU. Searles can do it too. A few dribbles outside. Looks like it was a long two off the mark. Ross tips the rebound to Spainauer. Looking to maybe slow up. Here's Vandergrift to Brandstatter. Maybe passed up a shot opportunity. And Harris has it stripped away down low by Jones.
Lynchburg struggling on those drives. You mentioned that's what they needed to do to get a couple of free throw opportunities. Had a couple of turnovers in that area, and EMU makes some pay. Trinity Washington
doing enough to stick around. Number 0, one of those shooters. EMU again, another three-pointer. Make it their 5th of the contest. We mentioned how Lynchburg averages over 8, and they are on their way to that number, but you definitely want to take advantage of that stat and limit your opponents. Spainauer has it stripped, and it'll be a jump ball. The paint has been contested the entire night. We've seen a few plays now, Andy, where Spainauer's really had trouble just holding on.
Yeah, and a lot of it is just because of the defensive pressure from EMU. Take another look at it here. I mean, Searles steps in to help out. I believe that was Jayla Gray in that position guarding Spainauer, and you get that double on the block, especially when Spainauer's struggling to get that turn towards the basket. Great defensive pressure from EMU. They'll definitely look to keep that up.
Harris off the backboard and in, side angle. She made it look a lot easier than the execution. And now back to a 5-point lead.
Yeah, great job there by Harris to use that little bump to create a little bit of a space for down on the baseline. An easy finish. Wasn't that easy, but she made it look very smooth here in Turner.
Osborne gets it down to Hamlet. The pass under the basket, no good, and Olivia Harris comes away with it again. Quarterback move, shifting the offense up. Vandergrift for 3, no good. Felt like one of those moments that she's had this year where she can take the roof off of the gym. Searles, a little hand off to Hamlet. Mid-range, rattles out. Hornets still trying to extend that lead. It feels like 5 has been the number to eclipse. Here's Sayer, no good. Off balance.
Yeah, Eastern Mennonite will probably look to slow it down here just a little bit. They've been kind of out in a track race the last couple of possessions, up and down the floor, taking an early shot with Maya Hamlet the last time down, but obviously they want to slow this game down, keep it as close as they can. They know a track race is what Lynchburg wants.
Nice move from Osborne. Back to a one-possession game. The longer the EMU stays in this contest, Andy, I know you mentioned it, these teams have opportunities to strike. This is a Royal squad that has beaten Guilford, Randolph, and Ferrum this year. When you look at that contest, of really who is in the tournament, especially near the outside. That has been a big battle. As Brandstatter does the hard work to get to the hoop, she's going to go make her trip to the line.
Yeah, good move there. Brandstatter throws up the floater with the right hand. Foul probably came from behind on the trailing defender. But yeah, you mentioned it. EMU has had their opportunities and had their victories against great teams. And, you know, in this one, maybe Lynchburg coming in thinking, last time we faced off in Harrisonburg, it was a 30-point win. We dominated, shot the ball well, did everything that we possibly could do in that game right. And now EMU comes down here, all of the momentum with just about 2 minutes left here in the third quarter. You know, as this game ticks on, the more EMU starts to feel like they can complete this upset.
Oddly reminiscent of that Ferrum contest just a little while ago. Brandstatter made 1 of 2. You see that no dribble on the free throw. No dribble in the corner on the three-pointer. Karis Lucas, we haven't said her name yet, took the attempt. Harris rebounds her own shot back to the rack. And attack she does, number 2 in white. Another nice look, crisp off the glass. Olivia Harris can get it done in a multitude of ways, and it's different every game, but she is not afraid to get to her spot. Lucas jump stop, swatted by Spainhour. Andy, I know the laws of gravity, but that one did not have a shot at getting the rim. Spainhour had everything coming back down, and now EMU 10 on the shot clock. Will try to get a look. They won't even get the opportunity. Lucas threw it out.
And going back to that defensive play there from Spainhour, great job just to wall up there in the paint and knowing that you have that advantage. Stoppage on the court, however.
Coach Nichols, a few words to Macy Mullins, who will carry it up the court. Brandstatter goes to the bench. Expect her to play some very valuable minutes in that fourth quarter. Maybe just the last minute to get a breather. Kaysen, three-pointer on the way. And it's called a foul against Macy Mullins off the ball.
Yeah, tough one there. I'm not exactly sure what happened. Macy Mullins maybe just a little bit confused as well, but that will go down. It's a pretty important foul. Macy Mullins, 3 fouls in the contest. Just about 11 minutes left here in regulation. Maybe a big foul there against number 3.
We mentioned how the point guard, Brandstatter, just went to the bench. So if you're Coach Nichols, you hope and pray Macy Mullins doesn't pick up number 4 in this final few 6 of the quarter. Hamlet gets downhill. She has had a very quiet 12 points. That's what the great players do. Certainly wind you down. Spainhour trying to get to the rack. Hamlet played good defense, but she's called for the foul. That's going to be the 3rd. EMU might have one final possession in store, but Spainhour looking to extend this lead as Taylor Gant returns to the contest. Just under 19 seconds to play in this third quarter. A trip to Salem and the rest of this ODAC tournament on the line, the season on the line, on the biggest stage. These next 10 minutes will decide what has been now a 3-month journey. You talked about the new youth movement last year, and Lynchburg has just started to put things together this year. Sayer Brandstatter, a big piece of the puzzle. Pass off to Lucas from the free throw line, no good. Harris with 2 on the clock, just gonna try to get the shot from half court, but it will be left short. 6-point lead in favor of the Hornets, and we've got 10 minutes left in the Hill City. So much to be decided. This is the first round of the ODAC tournament on LHSN. 1 quarter to play here in Lynchburg. Consistency has been the name of the game for the Hornets this year. They have not dropped 3 straight this entire season, whereas last year it ended on a 6-game skid, finalized by a defeat against Ferrum in the ODAC tournament, and it was not close in that first round. Looking to escape that feat today and move on. Coach Nichols has been to Salem with Lynchburg before. They did make it to the ODAC semifinals where they lost to Randolph-Macon in her first season. But a new pack here in Lynchburg. The youth movement has been on full display as Sever off the mark.
Yeah, good luck though there for Sever on the wing. It's just stopping this Royal team from getting out in transition, getting easy looks, but they've been doing a good job of stopping the ball on those drives.
Brandstatter can take time up front. Spainhour with space. Hamlet not giving an inch in that paint, and travel is called. Physicality down low.
Yeah, Spainhour once again just a bit too deep, and then once that dribble gets picked up, Eastern Mennonite does well to check in to the ball. I was just checking out the stats here for that game across the Hill City. 22-17, Randolph leads, 1:17 remaining in the third quarter.
We'll keep our eye on that one. Not directly affecting Lynchburg's travel should they win this game, but always good to keep up with the ODAC. Sever no good. Those threes have just not been falling in the second half. Hornets still shooting just over 30%. As Brandstatter will inbound under the bucket. Referee giving a little warning to Coach Posey on the opposing bench. Mentioned Jenny Posey and the work she has done with EMU. Lynchburg assistant coach back in the day from 2012 to 2014, so she has returned to a gym she is very familiar with. Obviously, as time goes on, not directly working with the crew. Out there now, Sever, right hand, and a pretty look to the bucket. Sammy Sever has just been doing it down the stretch, now 10 points. Yep. So we said many different ways she can operate.
Yeah, Brandstatter after that last play getting inside, laboring just a bit. Would not be surprised to see one of either Darcy Ross or Olivia Harris coming into the game here to get Brandstatter and give her a chance, but still going to take the three.
Brandstatter, cash it in the bank. Number 5 showing what she can do. Comfortable too. She came up limping from one of the last few plays, moving around on that ankle a little gingerly, but it did not affect her shot one bit. Macy Mullins will walk it across the timeline. Now it's a Lynchburg offense that can't afford to take time, and they don't do it very often, but those second chance opportunities can certainly be positive, and that was a smart foul from Osborne. She knew she was beat. Gives away the early one.
Yeah, a little bit of a late closeout there from Osborne. We'll take another look here. I mean, maybe not ready for Sever to make that initial move to the baseline and not realizing there was nobody behind her to get that secondary shift. And Lynchburg, a good move to the basket and an opportunity to inbound under the basket with a fresh 20 seconds.
Well, help defense was something Lynchburg emphasized. I talked with Casey Kelly before this contest. She said with the way that EMU drives and especially their quick guard play, Lynchburg would have to be prepared in the paint. And EMU just struggling in that play as Mullins gets to the rack. She'll have 2 shots on the other side. As we said, the Hornets didn't have any free throws in the first half, now up to 6 in the second. Mullins will take 7 and 8.
And Eastern Mennonite has not taken a free throw in the second after this point, so tale of 2 halves for either of these teams in different ways respectively.
Flipping it on its head, 6:40 to play, and Lynchburg has extended the lead at 10. As you saw a shot of Sarah Brandstatter getting some treatment. Obviously, if you're Coach Nichols, you hope that this lead stays comfortable enough to where if it is something urgent, that they can get it fixed. Didn't look like anything too difficult, but obviously you want to make sure that one of your star players is ready to go. Late deflection keeps it with EMU. Lynchburg in the game versus Virginia Wesleyan, 4 for 20 from three-point range. It was their first win with under 6 makes this season from three-point land. And as we've seen today, they're 8 of 24, but it has been a bit of a dry spell in this second half. Searles again operating with another deuce, and Lynchburg trying to maintain composure. 9-point lead. You would think it is comfortable, but we have seen some crazy antics this season in this gym. Have to take care of business. Mullins from the corner, and it is cash. Money Mullins, number 3 from Gate City, opening the gates and letting it fall through.
Yeah, and I think the main point we need to focus on here in the last 5:35 left in this contest is at what point does Eastern Mennonite speed up their offense? We know that they don't play that style quite often. Hamlet, another good move inside. She's been kind of that catalyst here this evening for EMU, but track race against Lynchburg doesn't necessarily favor EMU, but at what point do you abandon that half-court style and try and get out there?
Ross, a turnover, gives it back to Hamlet. EMU is so talented when they can isolate you and get to the rack, as Searles does here. A touch off the rim. Sever will corral the rebound. So many players that can hurt you one-on-one, and this is an interesting difference to what Lynchburg does, which is lots of passing, lots of keeping that offense intact. We know players like Sammy Sever can get to the rack as Mullins steps on the line trying to rescue the ball, and it will be EMU possession. And we will take what could be our final break of the evening. So much more to go. 4:47 and it's ODAC tournament time. We're having a blast in Lynchburg, and we'll be right back on LHSN.
The biggest thing that I've taken from Westover is probably my interactions with faculty. I started working with Dr. Fryer. He's always available for help, and he makes sure that I get to do the experiments and not just be there while he does them. I didn't want to limit myself when I came here to just taking the prereqs for med school. I wanted to get a full, well-rounded education, and I definitely found that in the Westover program. It's given me the opportunity to keep playing soccer at a competitive level, but also it's given me the ability to be a student and to pursue other activities such as EMS. "100% do Westover because it's not something they're going to regret, and it's going to be a lot of work, but so is everything else. It's just going to help build their education that they've already had and make them a better person for it."
Lynchburg 11-4 when leading at the half this season. Can they make it happen? And the big stage of this game, the big stage of this season. EMU trying to hit back. Kayla Searles is going to have to be a key piece if they want to take this 10-point comeback. Pass off. And now Lynchburg in 2-3 zone. Who would have expected that coming into this contest? As Spainhour gets the rebound, maybe Coach Nichols wanting EMU to take a few shots from beyond the perimeter and test their luck.
And Jones got a good look from right in front of her bench, just not able to knock it down. But, I mean, that's not one you really want to give up, especially to a team who has been relatively decent shooting the 3-ball tonight. But Lynchburg comfortable playing late in the shot clock.
Brandstatter takes a tumble, and the call will be out of bounds. Brandstatter just returned to the game. Not exactly the first play that you hope to happen, having her collide. Osborne went for it. Was that right ankle? And Brandstatter looked to hurt a little earlier on, but looking fine. Hornets continue operating. Sever to watch half court. And shot clock winding down at Sioux. Sever got it off the backboard. Offensive rebound, but it's a tie-up. Hornets will keep possession. Very lucky how the cards fell. 3:59 in this fourth quarter.
Yeah, it seems like everything here in quarter number 4 has gone very good for the Hornets. When you talk about it, they haven't scored at exactly the clip that you'd want them to, and they're probably not comfortable with where they are right now either, but their defense has been locked down, haven't allowed the Royals to go on any sort of run here in the second half, and everything looks very comfortable from that home bench.
Keeping things composed. Kaysen found Spainhour all alone. We've been waiting for an exclamation mark. That gets people out of their seats. And now Hornets with a 12-point lead in crunch time. Searles goes up, no good, and Sever comes down with it. Maybe a frustration foul. Slowly but surely you can start to taste the trip to Salem. Still so much to be completed down the stretch, but that is a big possession. Some of those 2 or 4 point swings, Andy, they can really add up.
Yeah, right there, a big one for Lynchburg. They get a stop on the other end and then come down and find a great little slip there from Spainhour to make that layup, and she's really been one of those key members of this Lynchburg team. And then on the other end, great rebound, put the pressure on Searles, wall up, no foul in the paint. Lynchburg looking comfortable here, 3:20 left.
Clinical on offense and defense. You're flirting with fire going into full court pressure against Lynchburg. We'll see if EMU stays in it. Mandy now with 6 on the shot clock. Spainhour trying to get to her left. Washington with the rebound. How quickly does this team move now is the question. Harris was straight up with her arms, but a little too much body contact will send Trinity Washington to the line. Andy, do you think this team has to start taking more threes, or are you comfortable with trying to get to the rack, slowing things down with free throws?
Well, I'm pretty comfortable getting to the just trying to get to the basket. I mean, you get the foul, you're at the free throw line, an opportunity for 2. Without the clock ticking away, I think that's really where you want to get to. But the key still at that point is you have to make those opportunities. At some point, Lynchburg is going to step out to the perimeter and guard those 3-pointers, especially late in the contest when we get down to maybe about a minute to go. So the opportunities inside will become abundant for this Royals team, but in either way, it'll be a tough uphill battle the rest of the way.
Don't need many dribbles on the press break. You just have to get it across the timeline. Lynchburg does. Harris maybe took a step, but keeps her composure. And now Brandstatter has a few seconds up top. Pass out to Kaysen. Same look as before. Spainhour put it on a repeat. It's a broken record as Lynchburg gets to the hoop. And now the lead up to 13. 3 from the corner, no good. Hamlet did just a little bit to try and keep it as Brandstatter gets yanked around by Searles. That was the matchup we had our eyes on before this game, and those 2 contributors have been going after it. Yeah, it just looked like he was trying to get to the ball. It was just the wrong side of Brandstatter's arm. And we will go to break. Back in the Hill City momentarily. Lynchburg up 13.
Want to have some outdoor adventures while getting a degree at the same time? At the University of Lynchburg, we have an on-campus zip line and road course. Plus, we offer adventure trips that cost less than a cup of coffee. And did I mention our beautiful scenery? We're a university for students looking for something more than just books. Welcome to your new adventure experience.
And a game that has featured lots of talent, lots of big plays. Lynchburg finds themselves up comfortably going into the final 2 minutes. EMU's going to need a miracle but we have seen some crazy stunts in Turner Gymnasium before. Sever will slow things down. Up top, Lynchburg looking to make it 2 straight wins. Obviously, it is a very new season in the postseason as Harris, 3 is off the mark. Ball's gonna stay here, foul on the rebound. Foul trouble starting to stack up. Searles now has 4. Obviously, you just gotta keep her in this game. No look down at the bench for Coach Posey. She knows who she needs in this game. Maya Hamlet also with 3. Brandstatter, no dribble as per usual. This one off the mark, but Kaysen got the offensive rebound. Starting to add up for Lynchburg, now at 14. Brandstatter trying to lose the contact. Hamlet playing tightly, and you have to at this stage. Sever keeps the ball, trying to get separation. Count it, hoop and harm for number 23. And it's a big chance for the Hornets. Finally looking to escape in a game that has been back and forth. They get a big one from their senior.
Sever, a great job getting downhill, fighting through the contact. And for what we talked about the entire contest, just trying to stay close, the Royals finally can feel this one slipping out of their hands. It was all on the offensive end for them, unless you disagree with me. I mean, they had their opportunities on defense, got a lot of stops for this Lynchburg side, but in the last couple minutes, it's been a big run for Lynchburg, and they've gone on a couple of them in the last, I would say, about 6 minutes of this contest and stretched that lead out all the way to 16 points.
Some very special moments down the stretch. We talked about last year in that Ferrum game. You had so many freshmen on this roster who hadn't experienced a game like that before at the collegiate level, and you get somebody like Sayer Brandstatter, who has just been sensational. 15 points, 13 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, you name it. You talk about that leadership, somebody out there who has gone through the motions. And it has just felt like a different ball game the way Lynchburg has come out of the gates in this 4th quarter.
And Brandstatter just 1 assist short of a milestone of 100 on the season for this Lynchburg side. Definitely that Swiss Army knife, doing a great job in this contest and has done a great job in that category all year.
Osborne, a little bit of wizardry to get her way into the paint. Chance for the extra one. So he said, hometown kid from EC Glass High School along with Maya Hamlet, both returning to the city where they played their high school ball. Osborne completes the old-fashioned 3-point play as Macy Mullins will step back into this game. Spainhour, Brandstatter, Harris, Mullins, Kaysen, your 5 for Lynchburg. In the final 80 seconds, Mullins just playing a little game of keep away now. And the Hornets did the work early, Andy, to where they can really afford to slow it down now.
Yeah, they've definitely earned this opportunity. They're going to earn themselves a trip in about 1 minute and 5 seconds to Salem. An opportunity to play against a team that they believe they have an absolute chance to upset in Shenandoah. It's going to be an exciting couple of days of basketball, but got to finish this one out first. Be confident, maybe carry some momentum throughout the week, and then head down to Salem and do some damage.
Well, you've seen that Shenandoah squad before, and I think when you're up 14 at the half, you at least understand the equation that you're going to be facing in a game like that. Granted, emotions are going to be a lot different if you can clinch your spot in the ODAC quarterfinals. Brandstatter up to 17 on the contest. And Osborne slowing things down. You can kind of sense EMU has found their fate. Shot in the paint, no good. Spainhour tips it to Harris. It'll be win number 15 on the season for Lynchburg. They played 500 ball in conference play. A few of those games certainly could have gone the way of the Hornets. And crowd feeling it now. People on their feet in Turner Gymnasium. It has been a battle back and forth. But the main characters on this Lynchburg squad able to gut it out. They will take the shot clock violation, the only one in basketball you will afford to take. EMU, a season and a trajectory that has really just sent them in the right way. You think about some of the predictions beginning of the season. This is a squad that is going to be around for the years to come. Lots of freshmen, but it's some of that experience that will leave, like Searles in the backcourt. Lynchburg has clinched their spot in Salem to the ODAC quarterfinals. It smiles all around in a season that has been up and down, finally tasting that postseason play.
It's exactly what you asked for at the start of the year. It's exactly what their goals were before they even played a game. Just get back to the ODAC tournament, get back to Salem, try and get what that feels like. This young team didn't get to experience it last year. They're gonna get to experience it this year. And whether they continue this run or not, whether they survive and advance, it's such a great learning experience to be in that environment, to be in just the center of ODAC basketball for that weekend. It should be a very exciting time for this Lynchburg team.
Well, we know all the winter sports postseasons are really starting to shape up, and Lynchburg making the trip to Salem. We'll see a few other postseason tournaments that begin to unfold, but it just feels special for Lynchburg to punch their ticket. We'll take a few minutes to look at some of our stats and analysis as you see the highlights, some of the big plays down the stretch. Lynchburg relying on the 3 ball. They make 9 in this contest, but EMU had 5, and that 3-point battle, it just really felt shaped up the tempo of this game. It kind of gave an edge to Lynchburg, I thought, in that 4th quarter where they could really run and gun.
Yeah, Eastern Mennonite had 4 3-pointers made with about 5 minutes left in that 2nd quarter. From that point, the last 25 minutes of the game, they only knocked down 1, and I feel like that's where the biggest disparity was. Eastern Mennonite had to get the ball inside, and they did it quite well at times, but when it wasn't going well, Lynchburg had an answer on the offensive end. They knocked down a couple of key shots. Olivia Harris comes to mind, Spainhour cutting to the basket, making some open layups after a great move. And Lynchburg, overall, great game, but if you're EMU, hold your head high. Still a great contest here. We're in it until the very end.
No indication from this game of what this season was for the Royals because they had a good one. They beat Guilford. They hung with them twice. 2 contests that the Quakers now obviously are in a spot to maybe compete for a championship in Salem. But as we said, Lynchburg, just the maturity to get things done down the stretch. They haven't had a game like this, it feels like, where they've been able to gut it out against an opponent like EMU. Some of these games that were tight going into the 4th quarter didn't go their way. But as we look at the stats, it's hard not to ignore Sayer Brandstatter's. If you think about this, Sayer Brandstatter came into this year from Roanoke. You weren't really sure with the pieces that were already established here from that freshman class last year how she was going to contribute, what it was going to look like. She has taken that floor general role and really rolled with it. 17 points, 13 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 steals. Also, Bree Spainhour, 12 points and 8 rebounds in this contest. Andy, it just felt like they really had their handprint on this game from the start.
They did, and for EMU, it was 4 players in double figures. I think that's something that's pretty impressive about this contest. I mean, it's a Lynchburg team that has some great one-on-one defenders, and it's not like they threw themselves into that 2-3 zone that we saw late in the contest. But, I mean, for EMU, Searles, Hamlet, 14 each. Washington and Osborne each have 10. I mean, coming into this contest, if you would have said that, you would have imagined that EMU was going to be close, and it was until the last couple of minutes. But as you said, gritty win for Lynchburg. They earn it, and they earn their opportunity to head to Salem.
Well, fate is determined. They're going to play Shenandoah and Salem. It's going to be a game that is going to be a dogfight. We knew it from the start. So excited. And it's crazy that this is the final home game for Lynchburg. We kind of waited. We knew that there would be a postseason opportunity, and now this is it from Turner Gymnasium. So, Andy, I'll let you take one final thought, but obviously it has been such a fun season on the women's and men's side. Women not done yet. You have to feel that if they just get a little bit of that energy and keep it rolling, they can make a difference in Salem.
And it's all about putting 40 minutes of solid basketball together. Going back all the way to the start of this show. Gateways to success, putting 40 minutes of basketball together, something Lynchburg needs to do in the future. They're going to try and do it when they head to take on Shenandoah in the ODAC tournament. I'm just excited to be along for the ride with you here in Turner. I know it's come to an end, but an exciting time for Lynchburg women's basketball. They'll play Shenandoah in the ODAC second round.
Well, the Hornets have had a special season. So many people to think. It goes out to the LHSN staff, Tim LaDuca and Sam Rice, what they have done just from the production process and standpoint. Always also want to thank our announcers from this season, Kyle Haney, Sam Graham, Andy Watson, and I am Evan Gates saying so long from the Hill City.